Welcome to my channel, Marie's Country Life.
Hello friends, it's me Marie. Today I'm going to show you an update on my chayote plants. Remember, sometime in December, I planted some chayotes. The chayotes were actually from my garden. After they've been sitting on the counter, they sprouted, so I decided to plant them because I didn't want to waste them. And it's been 3 months since I planted them in grocery bags. The reason why I planted them in grocery bags because I wanted to transfer them easily without disturbing much of the root balls or the root system. So today, this is what they look like. It's been 3 months, and in fact, they have grown so much that I have to add more branches to support the vines that are just spreading and climbing. Around last week of December 2020, I planted these chayotes from the chayotes that turned into seeds from my 5-year-old comeback chayote plant. I did not intend for these chayotes to sprout because I wanted to cook and eat them. But obviously, they were mature enough and they stayed in my kitchen long enough that they sprouted. A couple of them I chopped off the sprouted part and cooked the part where it was still edible. Even though the chayote was growing roots and leaves, the chayote itself was still soft to prick using my fingernails. So what I did was I cut a V-shaped cut about halfway through. I made sure I didn't cut the inner part of the seed. After that, I soaked the cut part in water for hydration and to keep the growing part alive. And the rest, I cooked them. So if you want to cut a sprouted chayote and eat the edible part, make sure you do it with a steady hand and with a sharp knife. It is better and safer to use a chopping board for cutting and just use your fingers for support while cutting. The sprouted chayote will not keep in water for too long. Eventually, the exposed flesh or the soaked part will get soft and rot, so you will need to transplant the sprouted chayote as soon as you can, as soon as possible. Otherwise, the plant will die from lack of water or from rotting. So to be safe, don't chop off the sprouted part. Just keep the chayote intact, just let it be, and let the chayote continue to grow leaves and roots. Because if you don't cut the chayote, it will continue to grow, as the chayote itself is the seed and is the source of water and food for the chayote to continue to grow. I did not want to waste the sprouted chayotes, so I planted them in a not so typical way. What I did was I upcycled some grocery bags, 3 or 4 layers of grocery bags per plant, since we have lots of grocery bags. What I did was I filled them with compost soil and I planted the chayotes for growing indoor during the winter months. Chayote is a tropical vegetable, so it will die in the freezing cold temperature. And another reason why I planted them in grocery bags was for easy transfer, for easy transplanting later when it's warm enough and after the last frost. Usually for us here in Tennessee, in Zone 7, it's around last week of May. And you can do the same thing for other smaller vegetables. If you don't have a lot of money to buy planting containers or pots, you can reuse grocery bags as well. Just make sure that you use several layers to make it thicker and durable throughout the growing season. And make sure that you poke several holes at the bottom of the grocery bags for drainage. Apply proper care, keep the soil moist, water them regularly, put some organic fertilizer, enough sunlight, proper temperature, and apply some gentle movements to exercise the plants. So, here are the chayote plants that I planted 3 months ago. I planted them end of December 2020, and this is how they look like. In fact, I have to add another branch here to support. The branch here, the branches that I stick in the middle, they are branches from our fruit trees that we pruned several weeks ago. So it adds support if they need to climb some more. So I had to guide the vines, the tentacles, to the branch so that they can climb properly. It looks to me that they're doing pretty well. Of course, they have the needed element for them to thrive and grow. Of course, enough sunlight. Obviously, as you see, they're facing the window. They get sunlight pretty much throughout the day. They get full sun pretty much at least 6 hours a day. And I water the chayotes pretty regularly, at least twice a week. I make sure that the soil is well drained and moist. And another thing is that I make sure they get the air they need, the movement, because exercise, plant exercise is important also for the plants to grow and thrive. When I say exercise, is either you you move the pot, do it for several counts every day, at least 50 counts, 30 to 50 counts. If you wiggle the plant, it mimics the movement of the outside, because outside it's not, the plants don't stay. There's wind and then wind gusts and that kind of thing. So every day, if you can move the plants at least 30 to 50 times, you wiggle the bottom of the plants, that would help strengthen the plants, whatever it is. It could be chayote or something else. And you can also use your ceiling fan. Using a ceiling fan on high and with your plants at the bottom or below it, it will help exercise your plants. As you see, there's movement on the leaves and the vines. It will help your plants practice or develop strength. The movement, the air from your ceiling fan, it will help strengthen the plants, just like they have been moved or shaken when they're outside. So having the air move for at least 30 minutes every day, it will help your plants inside to grow better. Okay, and then of course fertilize. I fertilize these ones so far, but the soil that I use for planting, it's compost, so they're good, and I think they're doing well. Obviously it looks more forestry now here in our bedroom. So what I can say is that nothing is impossible if you want to plant tropical veggies, especially chayote. They do require longer warm temperature, warm summer heat. They would need at least 6 months before you can harvest or before they start producing chayote veggies. So for me, it is very important to know that you can do something indoor and plant them indoor, just like these plants, and that way they will have a growing time ahead of time, because inside you can regulate the temperature. Outside, my chayote plants, the ones that are still in the ground, they are still hibernating. They will probably come out around May when it's actually warm and hot. So these chayote plants are ahead of the game. So I will probably get chayotes earlier this year than the ones that I have in the garden that are still hibernating. So what I'm trying to say is that if there's a will, there's a way. You can do it as long as you know what to do. Just make sure that the plants have the right elements for them to grow. Water, sunlight, movement, and air inside, and then fertilizing the plants. Proper watering as well. So I can't wait to transfer these chayotes because I cannot keep them inside the house. Can you imagine keeping them inside the house? It will fill this whole room because I have 4 chayote plants here. They are getting big, and I know the video does not justify what I show here because they are really growing big. As you can see, this is the size of my hand, and see this, they are growing big. So that's it. I hope this will inspire you to plant chayotes and some other tropical plants that would require longer period. Of course, you'll just have to experiment because this is part of my experiment, and I know if I can do it, you can do it too. And by the way, I'm a gardener from Zone 7 in Tennessee, USA. That's all for now. Thank you for watching.